the history of the known universe with me, Fred Faour, and we've got a special guest today because AJ couldn't make it today, which guess who totally forgot. And by the way, you're welcome to pop on anytime, young lady.
Yeah, jump in there.
Yeah. But the truth is, right when I'm setting things up, I'm like, oh shit, AJ told us all last week he couldn't make it. So thankfully, because we're at Coach's Pub in Midtown,
We're always here.
where the two of us hang out quite a bit. BC in Houston, Brandon Capello is in the house,
What's up, guys?
and he thought I was joking with him, like, "Hey man, I need you to pinch hit like right away." He's like,
My actual words were, "You gotta be fucking kidding me, right?"
"Yeah, exactly."
God damn it.
Oh, so a lot to get to, and now I don't have to remember your basketball bets that you were texting me to give to the people. But yeah, we're here having a great time. A bunch of good friends here, and Coaches in Midtown is on Webster in Louisiana. Robbie owns the place. Great guy. If you ever come in, just tell him you're friends with Fred and Brandon, and he'll love you forever because that's what goes. Welcome in Spirit J. Welcome in Flip. Welcome in Jared Taylor. Man, so good to see you guys. I hope we have an awesome show for you today because, it'll be a little off the cuff, but there's a lot to get to. And, still want to get Brandon's thoughts on some things from the weekend, which we'll do. But for the most part, we're just going to have a little fun today because we have been having adult beverages. And actually, I was going to go home and do the show. And then Brandon's like, well, why don't I just take you to get your stuff and we come back because it's 3 minutes away. And so I decided to do that. So that's what we're doing. And So before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about Midtown Bar and Grill, one of our great sponsors. They are on 415 West Gray. Great food. And great food, great bar staff. I have not had a bad dish there yet. What's up, B. Hannon? And he wants to know who the lucky lady was yesterday. She's actually in the house this afternoon. So Brandon and I are going to try to talk her into showing her face, which you guys will like. But yeah, I mean, we're friends. Let's put it at that. But I think you guys will like her. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being and young and hot and just awesome. So anyway, I have taken her to Midtown Bar and Grill, and that's usually where I take my first dates. And often they don't go well, but it's not because of Midtown Bar and Grill. It's because of me. You guys know what a turd I am. So anyway, go by there, take a date there, let me know you're going to be there, and I'll swing by and, have a drink with you. All right, so a lot to get to today in the post-Super Bowl era. Now we start looking ahead to the draft. We start looking ahead to free agency. So there's plenty of NFL stuff to get to. To me, that's a lot more fun than talking about the same goddamn game for 2 weeks. But that's okay. We'll get to that today. We'll have some bets for you. BC already has a couple.
I got a lot, actually.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he'll take care of you.
It's been good.
And but you know what I want to start it off with today. Because we always like to do TV, right? And you and I go back and forth on TV stuff. I have 2 true crime things that I watched over the last couple days. One of them was called American Nightmare. Do not bother. It was awful. The first episode is pretty good, and it kind of got me into it, right? But the second episode was just the worst thing I've ever seen. The third was really bad too. So stay away from that one. But the one that, if you like true crime, people getting killed shit, Lover, Stalker, Murderer is one of the better ones I've seen. Now, I didn't know the story, but it had twists. It had everything you could possibly want. So give that one a try. And I know you've been on a couple things too.
I have. I finished Griselda the other night. Did you get a chance to check that one out by any chance?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so it's pretty cool. If you're into the narco genre, film on Netflix, which is extremely popular. They had Narcos Colombia, Narcos Mexico. It's kind of a spin-off of that, which was still a true crime, if you will, about Griselda Blanco, who was the hub for cocaine in Miami in the 70s and 80s. It's very short. It's like a 6-part miniseries, and it's done pretty well. I'm not a huge Sofia Vergara fan. Like, I like everything up until she talks.
Yeah.
You know? But they had a lot of prosthetics on her. They made her look like Blanco as best as they could, which, if you look at the actual mug shots of her, not even close.
Yeah.
The film was done all right. If you're a Narcos fan, then it wasn't quite to snuff. But as far as the story arc of her, how she tries to get away from the life, and then she gets back into the life to try and make a better life for her boys, but then it turns into just this classic, just egomaniacal, narcissistic, she's called the Reina, which means queen in Spanish.
Yeah.
It just goes all to shit from that. So it's good, not great. The other thing that we've been watching, you've been watching as well, is Masters of the Air. I was just supremely disappointed with the last episode.
I haven't watched. No, I'm caught up now. All right. And this is the thing about Tom Hanks. It's like there's a lot of repetitiveness in what he does, and this just feels like a lesser Band of Brothers, and too much about the relationships. I want more bombing. I want more shit exploding. And
don't watch the last episode then.
Well, I watched it, and it's like, really? Yeah. So, welcome in, said. So definitely kind of, I'll watch one more. I'm going to give it one more. And by the way, shout out to our buddy Neil from Neil's Bar, who bought us shots. Good friend. If you're in East Downtown, go check his place out. It's eclectic, is the way I would describe it.
And happy Ash Wednesday to everyone for those who celebrate, and Big Fat Tuesday to Said Boss, Jermaine, Haynes, any of the guys that we have on the Twitch. They're all Louisiana folks from the boot. I hope you all had a wonderful Mardi Gras, and I hope all you good Catholics have a good Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, as I drink.
Except it's Thursday. You already ashed yesterday.
Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Because by definition, Ash Wednesday is on a Wednesday.
I did say past tense, so I hope everyone had a good Ash Wednesday.
Okay, that's fair. You kind of did, but that's all right. Well, I didn't mean to correct you. It's just
that's fine. I hope everyone had a wonderful Fat Tuesday and a great Ash Wednesday.
And now it's just Thirsty Thursday, so there we go. I grew up Catholic. I'm kind of between religions right now. And
I've got jokes.
I don't want to get into why my experience in the Catholic Church really sucked. But I still, everybody I know grew up Catholic, so I still respect everybody who stuck with it. Just wasn't going to be for me.
Fair enough.
So, as a Catholic, I made a really good Jew. Anyway, all right, so I want to just kind of wrap up. I don't want to dive into the Super Bowl again.
Let's not.
But the last 3 days, and man, I love consuming these morning shows about sports. And it's all like, are the Warriors the model for the Chiefs? Is Patrick Mahomes this? It's just like,
so scripted.
It's scripted.
It's template.
And it's just kind of stupid. But I do like the idea of looking ahead a little bit, right? And, some of it, they're like, well, here's what the Chiefs could use in the draft. Here's what the 49ers could use in the draft. Like, okay, that's cute, but I'm just curious because I want to hear from you guys. Is everybody sick of that shit by now? Are we sick of the 49ers and the Chiefs? We've had 2 weeks of it.
I think a fair question is, are y'all ready for the Astros baseball season? Because pitchers and catchers reported today, and the rest of the world outside of Houston, at least in our little bubble and market right now, is ready for Houston Astros baseball. There's some places that are unfortunate not to have baseball in the first place, and that's fine. So yes, they're going to be hanging on to these storylines and these scenarios and these what ifs. But for the most part, we're ready for our Astros to come back.
You know what? I'm not all that excited.
How come?
I think I have Astros fatigue. They've just been so good for so long.
Okay.
And then when you and I were working for
He Who Shall Not Be Named.
He Who Shall Not Be Named, I mean, we had to do that book. I was so involved in that whole World Series.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of it, I'm like, man, I hope I never have to do this again. Now, I didn't have to, not for reasons that involve the Astros, but but even last year, I was kind of like, I'm just not enjoying it as much. So, you know what? Though that goes to a bigger problem. We were talking about this earlier, in an unrelated subject. I'm just not taking a lot of joy out of life right now. Even the things I love, like poker, and karaoke, and porn, just not taking the same joy out of it, man. And
when you check your categories that you're searching on porn, you might not be doing it right.
Well, I'm even bored with hentai. Which is saying, you know what hentai is?
I'm not gonna look for
Oh my God. I cannot believe that there's a person on the planet that I respect who doesn't know what hentai is. Anyway, Half Nielsen, welcome in. Dana B, welcome in. And Spirit says Verlander already in question.
Already in question.
Yeah, and so when you said pitchers and catchers reported, that just has a different meaning for a guy who lives in the Montrose.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on.
There's a young lady here that you were sharing drinks with. Should we bring her over?
She's going to pop on.
They're not completely in the Montrose?
No, the guys know. I mean, I joke about it.
Your viewers worry about you sometimes, I think.
No, they worry about other stuff.
Well, I mean,
so.
You're lonely, you're sad, you've been drinking to excess, which has been your life. I'm just making
God damn,
sure.
that's been my whole life. Are you fucking kidding?
I'm just making sure that the viewers know that the Falconcast is not going to end next week when, you show up in the obit.
Well, I mean, if he dies, he dies. Spirit says Fred hasn't found the alien category on Pornhub.
You can make a lot of money.
Yeah, I have found the alien category. I've gone through a lot of stuff on there. None of it gay porn. I want to make that clear. But
why you put labels on it? It's 2024.
I'm not labeling anything, but that is a search, right? Because like when you go up there and you start, to go to the search bar, it pulls up the ones that are most searched, and that one's way up there. Not for me, but it's like most searched for everybody.
Fair enough.
So Jared wants to know who's the guest. It's BC in Houston. You know him on Twitter.
How you doing, Jared?
And his name's Brandon Capello, one of my closest compadres and business partners and conscience. I mean, he's the one person that tells me when I'm full of shit, which I appreciate.
Yeah, we've done some good stuff together. We did Gallery Sports together. We did own some horses together. They made
we own a couple horses. Yeah,
horses together, made some money.
Yeah, and AJ looks Mexican. Well played, Flip. Well played.
Only half, Flip. Only half.
Yeah, and but yeah, I mean we did Sports Map Elite together. We got some other projects coming that are going to be really good. We just got to get there. So one thing about BC, he will give you he'll give you some good bets.
Yeah.
Why don't you give the people some action for tonight?
Yeah, no problem. So football is out. Turn that back on. Football is gone. That's unfortunate too, because did really well in football. No, Fred did really well in football as well. By the way, before I get into any basketball picks, do you have any hockey?
I will have hockey.
You will have hockey
by the end of the show.
By the end of the show. Okay, terrific. Well, in that case,
we're on a pretty good run on our hockey bets, by the way.
2 nights ago cashed. I missed it last night. What was the play last night?
I didn't have one last night.
Okay.
We had
Thank God, I missed my money.
2 in a row.
Okay, cool.
And you know what? I did. The one I was going to do last night was St. Louis money line against Toronto, but because Toronto had Marner was out, Tavares was out, Riley suspended, and then this kid they call up from the Marlies gets a hat trick and they win 4-1.
Really?
And probably their best defensive performance of the year. So I'm really glad I didn't share that play.
Very nice.
So I don't think they're. I might lean Flyers tonight against them because I think that was a little bit of a one-off. But otherwise, no, I've got Oilers Blues over 6.5 for sure.
Oilers Blues over 6.5. Punch it in. Got it. All right, guys, for your basketball plays tonight, we're going to fade Memphis. We're going to take North Texas. You can get them on the money line right now, minus 120, or you can lay 1 point for minus 110. Memphis is trash on the road. North Texas got their big man back, and they have a 67 straight up percentage at home, and I believe they are covering at a little less than that per clip in Denton. After that, we're going to take Purdue in Minnesota under 147.5. Purdue is going to blow the freaking doors off of the Gophers tonight. However, the Gophers are going to slow the game down. Purdue really doesn't have a lot to play for in the second half. They're probably going to call the dogs off, I think. I'm seeing maybe like Purdue maybe touches 80. I doubt Minnesota sniffs, I don't know, 50, 55 perhaps. I could. Purdue, Minnesota under 147.5. And the last play is going to be Denver. Team total over 80.5. They're the best over team in college basketball D1 right now. They get North Dakota right now. Later, Neil.
Yeah, Neil from Neil's Bar. One of our favorite guys. Go check.
Did he buy the last round of shots?
He bought that last round of shots, yes. So
thank you, Neil.
He's the best. Anyway.
Denver, team total over 80.5. They are the best over team in basketball. They've got North Dakota coming into town, and they are going to just light it up tonight. So those are your plays tonight. North Texas, money line or minus 1. Purdue, Minnesota, under 147.5. And Denver, team total over 80.5. Falcon.
All right. Well, you got one hockey play for me. I'm not the volume guy that he is.
That was 3 plays.
Yeah, it's 3, and I had 1.
How many games are there in the NHL?
It's actually a full schedule, including
how many?
It's like 10.
There's 30 in basketball.
Okay. Oh, all right. So we're on a 1-3 scale. Fine. In fact, I want to introduce a friend of ours here, who is a huge St. Louis Blues fan.
They're not going to want me back after she comes on. You realize that, right?
Oh, I know. She's also a former athlete. She's one of the smartest people I know. And please welcome in Erica. What's going on?
Hey, how's everything going?
Well, we're just having a little fun, having a little alcohol, and talking to the people.
Love it.
Because I totally fucked up today and forgot that AJ told me last week he could not do today's show. So 1 minute before the show, I'm like, fuck, Brandon, get over here. He thought I was joking.
So it goes. That's the life of us alcoholics.
But we're fun.
I think we're a good time.
Yeah, and she's and Behannon, it's Erica with a K, by the way. We'll make sure we spell it right. But she's a really cool person, and tell them
ERIKA.
Yeah, there we go.
Over or under for how long they asked for her OnlyFans?
For those of y'all who are wondering, I do not participate in OnlyFans. Unfortunately, I have an Instagram that I also barely participate in. I despise social media. So, sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, I'm like really, we're not even Facebook friends. That disappoints me.
I know this audience.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He knows the audience very well. But so yeah, tell them how you became a Blues fan, because you spent time in Missouri. You were a volleyball player, which and you were pretty damn good before you got hurt.
Yeah, the rumor is I was pretty good. So I moved up to St. Louis in the middle of my 8th grade year. I was born and raised here in Houston. Became a volleyball player here, which we all know we're corn-fed and amazing volleyball players. Moved up to St. Louis, and the owner of the Blues his family became a very good friend of mine. So I just became obsessed, and I'm not really diehard for anybody, like
Yeah.
I have a lot of love for the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of love for the Seahawks. However, my Blues are my diehards, so perhaps chat roulette. That's hilarious. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh yeah, no, our listeners / Twitchers are the best. And of course, Total Dallas is now in love with you. How about them?
How about them boys?
Shocker.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I'm passionate about two things in sports, really. I mean, I obviously have to be. I follow everything, and I have to be fans of a lot of teams because it's my job. But I'm passionate about two things. I'm passionate about anything that's basketball or football. Like baseball, and sorry guys, and I know we have a couple baseball players that actually listen because I met them one night and they were really cool. I told me, yeah, I'll pay attention to you guys. But I mean, it's basketball and football at and we talked about this Monday. You don't want to be around me during a basketball game right now, especially the close ones. I'm just not fun.
I mean, I think I told you that's how I felt about it. So, unfortunately, I have a dog that has to put up with me during St. Louis Blues games. And he has to wear his little hoodie. And also, he has to put up with the hollering.
Oh, and poor Kira's heard words that she's never heard before from me. I guarantee you. And in different ways. Like when won that game on the Hail Mary, the F word came out a bunch of times when they gave up the touchdown to blow the lead. And Kira's looking at me like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then when they win the game, she's hearing the same words, but in a very different way. And Jerry Bow in the house. Jerry, I owe you a phone call, brother. I will call you tomorrow. And let's get all this stuff worked out. Jerry is one of the greatest people I know. And but yeah, Total Dallas says Cougs will rock this year after battling through the Big 12. You know, Big 12 road games for the Cougs. The Cincinnati game, I had a couple of friends over, and they're just looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, God damn it, get this guy out of the game. What the fuck? And, I mean, so I'm passionate about that, and I'm passionate about the Leafs, but only during the playoffs, because we do well in the regular season.
Well, I mean, and unfortunately, you guys smoked us yesterday.
Yeah.
It was very heartbreaking. A very heartbreaking moment.
It was hard for me to watch because I do, since we've kind of become sort of friends, I've started watching Blues games because I like hockey. I'll watch hockey all the time.
No, I told you when we first met. I said, if anything, I need him to support my team. Go Stars, Total Dallas, love you to death, but that's going to be a hard no. But there was one thing I asked of our friendship when we first met, and it was that he would support the Blues. And then we came to an agreement that as long as the Leaves and the Blues, as long as we didn't have to argue over them.
Well, we only play twice a year, unless it's going to be the Stanley Cup, and God forbid you and I will not be friends during that.
Yeah.
If that were to ever happen, because although look, it's the Leafs. There's going to be no Stanley Cup for them. Okay, but yeah. So it was last night, and was it last night or Tuesday?
It was last night.
Okay, yeah, and I felt guilty because I kind of want to support her Blues, but they were playing my Leafs. And we talked about this a little bit at the top of the show. I almost gave out a play on Blues money line because the Leafs were down Marner. They were down Riley's on a 4-game suspension now, but Tavares wasn't there. And this kid they call up from the Marlies gets a hat trick. And we win 4-1. And I felt a little bad about it, but not really. I mean, we're not that close yet.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Maybe we are. I did feel bad about it, but yeah. So twice a year we have to deal with that. But yeah. So you played college volleyball, right? Before you got injured.
Yes. So I played all through high school, middle school, high school. I think some elementary school. So I don't know if any of y'all out there were athletes for all your life and then got an injury, but I did sign to play at Cal State. And then 2 weeks after signing, I fractured my spine and no longer was able to play. However, I mean, silver lining, right? I was able to go on to get multiple degrees in college in biology and in chemistry and Greek mythology, which is a fun fact that is now known around this bar that I have been questioned on my favorite deity of late.
You're kidding, that's a thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for any of you athletes out there that have ever felt as hopeless as I did that day, there is silver lining And
Yeah, you've gone on to really turn yourself into an amazing person, and
thank you.
you know, and it's funny because she has these really smart degrees, and then like me, she has, you know, Greek mythology was a minor. So what was one of the first gifts I gave you?
Oh, you gave me a phenomenal book that still is.
It's Aristotle.
It's Aristotle.
Yeah.
And then I did not
Nuclear
realize.
mechanics.
I actually just looked over it the other day when I got home. I've been out of town for about 30 days, and so when I finally just got home of late, physics is the best subject in science. That was my least favorite subject. When I went to take my MCATs, it was the first one at about 7 in the morning for a 7-hour test, and it broke my heart. But I did open up your book the other day and realized your signature was in it. Super cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was
for
the
that
Astros
gift.
book. Yeah. Well, I got the better book coming for you. I've got 2 on order, and apparently they've been on order for 6 months now. Of my novel, which I think you'll like. It's pretty fucked up, you know.
You know how I love all the fucked up stuff.
And a lot of these guys who I've, you know, I mean, these guys have been followers since the Blitz days, and I love them all. But a lot of them have read Jesus Just Left Chicago, and it's there's one scene in there that you'll be like, why am I friends with him again?
I think I've been asking that since the first day that we met.
Oh yeah. Oh no, because you have too much fun with me, so just
Absolutely.
deal with it. Yeah. So Erica, I wanted you guys to meet her because she's just a fun, awesome person, and as you can tell, you know, I know all you guys care about is that she's not unpleasant to look upon. But no, she's a lot of fun, and you know, we hang out a lot. And I love the one thing we haven't done yet is we need to watch a Blues game together, because like we've watched them with you in Austin on one end and me on the other, going back and forth.
We have.
But yeah, we haven't actually watched a game. You know,
I think I might get you some earplugs just in case. And then obviously, so his dog Kira is such a large part of my heart. I train dogs in my free time.
Yeah.
And so naturally, I have been gone for a little bit, and so I get to start up training Kira again soon. She is the most amazing.
Oh, and Kira loves her. She got to see her for the first time in, you know, more than a month yesterday, and the dog's just all over. And so was the shedding.
The shedding and then the attitude for sure.
Oh yeah,
I realized you didn't practice anything that I.
No, we tried, but no, she. I think she was mad you were gone for so long.
I agree. I'd be mad I was gone for so long.
Huh.
One day we'll get our dogs together. And for those who don't know, I have a beautiful Malinois. He is a protection trained competition dog. And
retired now,
happily retired, couch driven, and we're just waiting for our dogs to be able to go on play dates.
Well, we got to get Kira fixed first, which was part of the problem when I rescued her, because Maverick not fixed, but you know what, if she were going to accidentally get pregnant, I'd be okay with that.
Not a bad bloodline to get pregnant. Not a bad family to have some babies into.
Yeah.
We'd be great parents.
And Behannon asked, Kira hasn't knocked you out lately.
Yeah,
that was last week. No, that was last week. And you know, it was funny. So, like, I'm so out of it. My neighbor Steven comes over, and I told the story last week. We're having conversations about stuff, and I am not making any sense, right? And I really wish that he'd recorded it, because first we were talking about the UH-UT game, and I was, Guy V. Lewis is such a better coach than Abe Lemons. He's like, you know, Guy's been dead for 8 years, right? It's like, oh yeah, right. And so, but like, and you know, you've been in the medical profession and will be again, so you understand concussions better than most. What I was always taught, because I've had a lot of them, is, you know, if you can focus on one or two things to just keep your mind, you know, active, then do that. So I was focusing on talking to Steven about UH basketball, and I was focused on texting you back and forth and one other friend, and you were giving me advice, and I appreciate that. But yeah, that whole night I was so out of it, and then the next day was the nausea day.
It's always the worst day for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just I don't know how many concussions I've had in my life. Because back when we played football and I did motocross and all that crap.
I mean, you're not allowed to have concussion protocol then.
No, back then it's like suck it up, son.
Suck it up, rub some dirt.
Oh, I remember my dad telling me, "Suck it up, get back out on the field." But yeah, so the thing is, and then I was fine the next day, and but then last night it kind of came back. Yeah.
So I've had a few. They're not fun. Yeah, no doubt. I remember one time.
Heartthrob was a wrestler, so he had plenty.
I can imagine. One of those concussions I was telling you the other day, one of those concussions I had was when I was playing volleyball, a girl went up to block in front of me. She nailed me flat in the head. And at the time I was getting recruited. And so everything's on film. That's super fun to watch. And so all you see me is get knocked out. And then you see me wandering around the court, not really sure which way is up. And then I don't really recall anything after that. We were in Colorado at the time. So not only do you have oxygen deprivation, but you get concussed in the meantime.
Right.
And next thing I know, I wake up, I took a nap, which you're not supposed to. FYI, everybody online. Don't take a nap. But I walk up and the whole hotel is filled with other volleyball players clapping when I finally got up to eat breakfast the next morning. And I wasn't really sure what happened.
Yeah, I think because I remember, so when I got out of bed, I looked at my phone. It was 4:02 in the afternoon. I was just taking a nap. And a friend of mine had given me some stuff to help me sleep because I don't sleep well. I mean, there's...
For the record, nobody take medications you're not prescribed.
Right, I know. Yeah, thank you. I mean, there's one scenario where I actually sleep well, but I'm not going to talk about that while we're talking here. But no, so I get up and I'm groggy as hell, and Kira always sleeps right under the bed.
Under the bed, yeah.
Right underneath me. And she's really cool when I get up because she lets me get up and kind of get my legs and then start walking, and then she pulls herself out and follows me. And on this particular afternoon, something spooked her. And she freaked out, spirit, Boudreaux for the win. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make her read the Boudreaux's boat scene chapter. And then after that, she's probably never going to speak to me again. But, yeah. But,
melatonin
yeah.
gummies.
Well, no, I sleep pretty well when I use my regular gummies. But the problem is it's such a balance. Like, you have to take so little that it just helps you sleep and it helps with your pain. But if you take too much, then I'm sitting there dreaming about hot blue alien chicks and, you know.
That's what melatonin gummies do to me, to be honest.
Oh, really?
And your gummies are still an illicit substance here.
They're no, wait. Well,
ones.
actually,
are they CBD ones?
No, they're not. Well, okay. If any officers of the court are listening,
nobody's listening. Nobody takes gummies.
CBD. They're CBD.
They're CBD.
Yeah, they're CBD. Well, I didn't realize until the other day, until my lawyer friend told me that weed is decriminalized in Houston.
It is. Yes.
But it's only cigarettes. Like if you have a vape or gummies.
Well, do you know why that is?
No.
It's because of the fentanyl crisis going on.
So there's fentanyl in my friggin' gummies?
Potentially, especially in the vapes.
Oh my God. Well, I don't do the vapes anymore. I did for a while. Thank you, bro. No, I did that for a while, and actually I quit drinking for a couple months, and I just did vapes, and I was cool.
Yeah.
But then my lawyer told me that was illegal, so I quit doing that. So I prefer smoking because, and I know you're not a weed person.
Yes.
But it gets me where I want to be, and I know where I am, right? Like when you do a gummy, AJ and I were telling gummy stories last week with the time where he thought he was fucking being chased by coyotes because he did too many gummies. And yeah, you should go back and listen on it's hilarious. But no, with a gummy, it's like I've learned Well, yeah, I think I've told this story before. I don't know if I told it to you. I was living in a Houston house. A friend of mine made brownies,
Oh, yeah.
and
I remember my first edible.
and the first time he did it, he had it nailed. Right, it was just the right amount. We both had a brownie, and we're both like, "Oh, cool, man! Let's go pick up some midget chicks." And you know, it was
Some
like,
midget chicks.
yeah, that's you know, it was kind of a running gag when it, like for some reason when I'm high.
I remember my first, beer.
Okay, so the second time he comes over and he makes them, he says, "I tried something different this time." I'm like, "Why'd you try something different? They work perfectly." It's no. And so we both have one. At 30 minutes, nothing. I'm
So
like,
naturally, you ate
of
more.
course
didn't
you ate it.
Of
You eat another one, right?
course.
Well, then nothing for another, say, 10 minutes. By now, I'm getting impatient, right? Because I just want to get high. So I go, "Hey, man, I'm going to go get a joint. Let's just fucking get the joint, and we know where we are. Boom." So we start smoking, and then they both kick in. And all of a sudden, I'm like, it reminded me of like watching the space movies where they come out of hyperspace, and all of a sudden you're just stopped, and then there's hot blue alien chicks and everything. So I do that, and and so my friend was sitting in the chair across. We're on the 21st floor is where we live. We're sitting on the balcony, and he's like, "Hey, man, this shit just hit me." Like, yeah, no kidding. You know,
outer space.
I'm here.
Shit.
I mean, me too. And so his wife comes out, and she and I get into this in-depth conversation about existentialism and midgets. And you know, and somehow in my mind, I created a character that will show up in one of my books as an existential midget. And anyway, so she goes inside and goes to hang out with the ex. And they, for some reason, they liked each other. I don't know why. But anyway, um, um, so the big guy is all I'm going to call him. Not going to give out his name. He's like, "Fred, I got to pee. Can you help me up?" And I'm like, "Bro, you're 6'8", 370, and I'm so fucking high, I'm not even sure I can get out of the chair. There's no fucking way I'm going to help you up. You're just going to have to pee on your leg. Just going to have to happen."
When I heard this thing the other day, I had a buddy of mine tell me, he said he's not from here, he's from a different state, and we were comparing sayings from different states, right? And he said he was so high, he was as high as a giraffe's vagina. And
oh, that's a good one.
Cracked me up. Honestly, I have been there with you. Like you mentioned, me and marijuana, we don't jive too well, but I have this video. I haven't showed it to you yet, but I have this video where I did do something called a dab. Right? It's like the oil.
Okay.
And
I've heard of that.
And I was in California, so it was like some real shit. And my friend takes a video of me in an Uber, and I am steady talking to this Uber driver about some sort of thesis of a mix of reality with religion. And like, I kid you not, I will listen to that to this day, trying to figure out what epiphany I had on marijuana. But it's just not a thing.
Well, you know what? And you guys, Behan, the Houston house elevator never worked. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I had to walk down those 21 flights of fucking stairs because of the elevator. And, but no, I don't do much other than weed, right? I've been pretty clear about that my whole life. The only thing that I recently started trying is mushrooms.
It's like microdosing?
I'm not taking a lot, but holy shit, I am so creative on that stuff. Like I will, and I have to record myself, right? Because I'll come up with the most amazing fucking stories, and that's where I came up with this Western that I'm pitching to Tubi right now. Which, although I was very disappointed, I saw one of their bad Westerns the other day, and there was a Saudi prince character, and I'm like, fuck.
I know, it kind of took your idea.
You stole my soul, man. I mean, now, there wasn't one with 8 midgets, okay? But
I mean, I remember the first time you told me this idea, I just, intrigue, however What the fuck? Please elaborate for the crowd.
Yeah, she has a red Jesus yet. When she gets to the Boudreaux scene, she's gonna be like, yeah, you think that's a what the fuck? It's the most disturbing thing I've ever written, and there's a reason I do it, and the reason I put it in there, which I can't explain to you till you read the book, but yeah, Spirit lived on the 23rd floor.
Cheers.
Yeah, the laundry. You know what? The one thing I liked about Houston House was like I would go and take my laundry, and then there was a gym on the 9th floor, and I'd go work out the whole time the laundry was going. There was a basketball court. I was playing basketball, and I'm not gonna name drop, but there were some people way more famous than me that lived there, and somehow we all.
I mean, I feel like name dropping is your favorite thing to do.
Really? When have I ever name dropped? It took me forever to tell you the Kid Rock story. But anyway, a lot of guys, there's a couple of MMA fighters, stuff like that.
Hey. Can we introduce him?
Yeah, come on. Mississippi, pop your head on here. Yeah. Yeah, this is Mississippi.
Mississippi checking in.
Say hello to the entire
How are y'all?
world. Yeah. So Eric and I were just having some fun, and yeah, that court did suck because it was a short court, and I blew up my knee on it, which is another story. But anyway, just wanted you to say hello. That's Mississippi.
Everybody, this is a very good, close friend of mine.
Yeah.
His name is Blake, and hopefully we are trying to convince him to stay here in Houston.
Yeah.
Fred and I will be doing our due diligence.
Yeah, we're gonna work on him because we think he'll like it here better. Plus, we're here.
I mean, who doesn't want to hang out with us?
Right. I mean, come on. Well, I mean, I think we have some exes who don't want to hang out with us, but otherwise.
But all our exes live in Texas, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. I could go back to Canada, but hey, anyway, so see that's one of those little subtle drops there,
It's
right?
one of those subtle drops that, like, for those of us who have ever been in legal trouble, which, I'm not saying this is me, but Canada is very safe for us who have been in legal trouble because we're not allowed there.
Right. Yeah. Oh no, I had friends. Like I was going up there. This was before I met the ex because I actually loved Canada before I liked her. But we were going up there for a concert, and because he had a DWI in Austin, they would not let him in Canada.
No, absolutely not.
And they just flat out said it. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. You have a DWI, eh?
I just feel like Mounted Patrol is on their way to keep all the D-dubs out of fucking Canada.
But what was cool, so like when the ex and I would fly to, she lived in a real small town in Saskatchewan, which, well, right now we got 20 on the Twitch that are viewing, but we have probably a couple hundred listening right now. Okay. And by the end of it, it'll be a lot more because once the show's over, I post it to Spotify and Apple, just the audio. So the video, though, it'll be on Facebook. So, like, if you're on Facebook, you can go and look at it, right?
For those of you who aren't on Facebook, join the 21st century. Thank you.
So, well, Facebook has become such an old person thing.
It really has. To be honest.
Which,
Facebook,
by the way, hi. Have you
guess
met me?
I'll never see Canada. I got a DUI last Friday. Pelly rat.
Pelly.
Rest in peace. But there isn't much to see in Canada. Why don't you just go ahead and stay in the U.S.?
Yeah, Pelly's a great guy, and I want to hear some poker exploits soon, Pelly. But yeah, when we'd fly into it, this was a running joke when we did the Blitz. We'd always fly into Regina.
Hold on. Re-say that?
Regina.
Oh, okay.
Because so like my ex lived in a small town, about 3 hours from Regina, and about 2 hours from Saskatoon. It's kind of in that area. But when you fly into the Regina airport, all the Mounties are there. They've got like 10 Mounties, and they're all in full gear. And I'm like, "Where's your fucking horse? You're in an airport."
We come to Canada to see a horse and to hear.
Well, if you're a Mountie, I mean, by definition,
you need to be mounting. If you're walking, you might as well mount on something.
Oh,
Lord
God.
have mercy.
So
which everyone knows people in Canada don't have the balls to do so.
No, you know what? And I'm going to dispel a myth right now that my ex used to perpetuate. All Canadians are nice.
Lies.
Oh my God.
Mounties in Regina.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, I mean best joke wins. Best joke wins.
Honestly, Pellerat, I think we need to show a little love to him. First court date is tomorrow. Honestly, man, much love. You got a very quick court date, and everything's gonna be all right. Besides Canada, and that's not really saying much.
No, Pelly, I hope you got a good lawyer, brother, and I'm sorry to hear that because that's a there, but for the grace of God, go I thing. I never got one. And I can't tell you how many times I should have, probably over 1,000. And the only time I ever came close is when so this is way too much admission. When I was living in Galveston County, where I grew up, and my family had some influence there. I got pulled over twice, and both times they're like, "Oh, you're Mrs. Munich's grandson. We'll give you a ride home." And
body cams don't make that a thing anymore.
Well, you can't do that anymore, right? Unless they don't turn them on, which is also pretty common.
33 years ago, you're still getting. Well, you know what, y'all? I think a consensus across the board is Canada can suck a dick. And then all of us D-dubs will just stay here and have a fucking blast here in Texas.
I told you guys you'd like her. I mean, she's cool as fuck. But yeah, the only other time I came close, I was driving home from the racetrack, and I was living in Meyerland at the time. And I had a Corvette.
Sure.
And apparently Corvettes were getting stolen a lot at the time, and I was probably swerving a little and driving really fast down North Braeswood.
It's called Uber.
Yeah, I know, Spirit.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? That's why I don't have a car right now.
Because I'm your active Uber.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, and it's between you and Steven and Brandon. One of you drives me everywhere. Although I have a story about that today that I'm really pissed off about. I never get pissed about anything. But just to finish the other one, yeah, I get pulled over, and I know I'm fucked. I'm like, if they pull me out of this car, I'm going to jail. And I just said, "I'm sorry, officer. I know it's going so fast, but I have diarrhea really bad, and I need to get home."
And did it work?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yes, and I was only like a half mile from home. I told, "Listen, I live over here. I'm on Dumfries. I'm right off of Braeswood. I really just need to get to the bathroom before it happens in my pants."
Well, and I feel like in Houston, right, you can get away with that, right? Because there's so many bumps on the roads. Like, Lord forbid you do need to go to the restroom urgently. I think if somebody were to pull me over and I said, there's an issue down under, there's some GI problems that requires an Imodium, I feel like...
I guarantee, well, it worked for me, right? But I also will say this, and you haven't had to see this yet because I've never really been that messed up around you. But if I'm really messed up and I have to snap sober, I do it instantly. And like as soon as I see those lights, man, I fucking snap sober like you wouldn't believe.
No, I feel like we came to consensus. So just so everybody on the air knows, the first night I ever met Fred, we clicked like no other. And I go because we wanted to like have a nightcap together. And I go to pick him up from his spot, and all I see is like somebody that shouldn't have a nightcap, I guess. And so we hung out for hours, but I was there is no way we are going to an alternative bar.
Oh, see, I just thought you wanted to hang out at my place because I'm like, yeah.
I mean, you have a dog.
I said,
well, you know how I feel.
I know, but I was like, let's get an Uber and go to Coach's, which we're at, by the way. If you want to swing by, Coach's Midtown.
Come through.
And because
first round's on us.
Yeah, is it?
Me. We'll say it's on me.
But
if you mention anything about my story that you remember, because it's my first time ever on air, I cannot believe you got me to do this.
It's funny because I've made some subtle references about you to the people.
Yes.
And so everybody asks. So I'm like, okay, here's Erica. This is my friend Erica, my hot friend Erica. So I'm thinking the people are loving you. Raj loves your clinical jargon. Raj is also in the medical business.
Lovely.
You'll need to meet him. He's also like she's kind of met my like inner circle of my Premier League friends. Raj is in the top 5. So
so it was one of my things that I loved about you when we first met was like we could delineate with like how friendships go
Yeah.
and like instead of saying like best friend, acquaintance, colleague, etc., like the way you described friendships in a football like
English
English
football.
sense,
Yep.
it just clicked with me so well that I had missed it. Thank you so much, Raj. My clinical jargon intermittently confuses a lot of people, but I think you run it pretty well.
Yeah, but you know what? You were earlier. Okay, she was talking to another friend of mine. It proved him completely wrong about something
I did.
involving metals, right?
Involving the periodic table.
But, oh my God, this shit's like going over my head like, goddamn pigeons. I mean,
pigeons go over your head a lot.
Well, pigeons are attracted to me. I don't know why. It's a long story. But no, she's doing this, and I'm like laughing my ass off because, it was like they're playing metal tennis over my head. Except she had this fucking look on her face. She knew she had him the whole time, and then she proves him wrong on something. And it looked like, and we both love dogs, and none of us would ever beat a dog, but it looked like somebody hit a dog over the head with a bat after he lost. He just went like.
For me, it's like you don't test a chemistry major on their knowledge of the periodic table. It was my life for 5 years. So.
Yeah, it's just like, don't challenge me on UH athletics.
Absolutely.
Come on. Except for when I'm concussed and still think Guy Lewis is alive.
Well, we are all
our buddy Dana's watching. Flip, but yeah, you'll
Dana. Hi, sweetheart.
Yeah, you need to meet Raj. He's another one of those. Yeah, it's like this is my only superpower these days. I collect good people. Like I somehow connect with good people, and then stay connected with them, and we all just become lifelong friends. And Raj is just like that. He had just moved from El Paso. AJ and I were doing the show at Tubelos back in the day. You guys remember that? And he came up and introduced himself. And we were talking about, hey, we're going to be in Vegas next week. He's like, hey, can I hang out with you guys? And he did. And we have been, as close as anybody ever since. Like we've told all the stories about he and AJ and I would take a piece of each other's poker action, right? And one of us would cash in every fucking tournament. We had so many great times in Vegas. We were talking about that a little bit the other day. But yeah, so you'll meet Roger at some point. He was there last night at the Maple Leaf where we were playing poker. Okay, so I got to tell a story. I don't, guys, you know me. I don't get pissed off about shit. It takes a lot.
I love you, and I love you guys. I have a friend here that I am going to go
Yeah, she's already heard the story. So anyway, guys, thank Erica for coming on.
It was so nice to meet you guys. Total Dallas, absolutely. I would be willing to tutor your son if he needs it. It was so nice meeting you. Thank you.
All right, I will. I'll see you guys in a minute. We're almost done here. So anyway, the worst place on the fucking planet is the DMV. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe parts of the Ukraine are worse right now than the DMV. But all right, guys. Now that she's gone, what'd you think? Go ahead and put your comments on there. Just friends. We're just friends, per se. Anyway, so I had to go to the fucking DMV. I made an appointment because my driver's license expired. You guys know my birthday's in December. Well, it actually expired the year before. And it was one of those where you have to go and do the eye test. And, you have to do it in person. You can't just do it online. And it really pissed me off because, so that's why I got the glasses, right? So my plan, pretty simple, go in, take the eye test. If I fail, put the glasses on. So my neighbor, Steven, and Spirit, stop it, brother. You don't have to do that. But anyway, so I figure if I fail the eye test, I put my glasses on, right? And I'll just pass that and I'll get the, with glasses thing. So I make the appointment online. And what I don't understand is how I make an appointment and then I get there and I still have to wait in line for 20 minutes to get their paperwork. And while I'm waiting in line, I'm like, okay, first off, this is kind of fucked. Because I thought I'm making an appointment. I come in, bam, they make me do the eye test. I changed my address because it's still, the East Downtown one. And I'm out of here, right? And I get to the kiosk where they're supposed to give me the paperwork. And this woman asked me, is your birth certificate on file? And I'm like, well, I assume so. I've been driving for fucking 40 years. I just haven't driven the last year. And at no point when I was signing up for the appointment did it mention anything about a birth certificate. And then she's punching it up and she goes, oh, nope, it's not on file. Sorry, you have to go get one. I'm like, what the fuck? I blocked off my whole morning to come over here to get a goddamn driver's license. And now I got to go somewhere and get a fucking birth certificate? I mean, what the fuck? And it really made me. I mean, I was steaming. Now I was a little hungover, but I was steaming like a motherfucker. And I finally told him, hey, listen, all I need is a picture. That's it. Check my eyes, get me out of here with a goddamn driver's license because I want to go buy a little truck or something. And obviously right now I don't need it, but there's little things you need with your driver's license, like getting on an airplane, ordering from Drizzly, important stuff, right? So I didn't get mad at the lady per se, although she was kind of a dick. I'm going to say this, and I guess if you work in the DMV, it kind of makes you a dick, right? I mean, that's nobody there was nice. And go stand in that line, then come back to this one. It's just so much bullshit to deal with, guys, for one little fucking thing that I used to be able to do online in 5 minutes. But because I had to have the eye test, now I have to go in person. So I waited and I went outside, smoked half a J to kind of chill. And then my buddy Steven had to get his done, and he got his, but they were telling him they needed his passport for some fucking reason. I mean, he still got his, but then we leave, and I'm in the truck, and I snap. It was full. Old school evil Freddy bullshit, right? Like I don't do that anymore. But boy, I'm like, God damn that fucking bitch! All my information is right there in front of her on the goddamn computer. Why does she need my birth certificate? Why didn't they tell me I needed to bring a birth certificate? Because guess what? First off, how many of you, raise your hand, if you have a birth certificate on you at all times? Okay, you're lying. Who still has one? Now, I'm fortunate because I still have mine. And, I know exactly where it is. And when we got home, it's like I told Steven, because he came over to have a drink after and play with Kira. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to show you exactly where my birth certificate is. If they had fucking told me they needed that, I'd bring it. And there it is, And I'm like, so now I have to make another appointment. I got to find somebody else to give me a fucking ride because, I'm not Ubering out to that place. It's a fucking $30 Uber. Fuck that. And, and God knows what they're going to tell me next time. But that place is hell. It is fucking hell. And I've never, ever had a good experience at a DMV. And this, I don't want to say it was the worst experience because I didn't get boudreauxed or anything like that. But the fact that they just don't give a fuck that you stood in line for 30 minutes for an appointment you already made. And when you get to the end of the line, they're telling you, oh, sorry, we need a birth certificate on file. What the fuck? I'm 59 years old. When do they need a goddamn birth certificate? I think they'd be more impressed with a death certificate. I'm closer to that. Anyway, that's my rant for the day, guys. Hey, I love every one of you. Thank you so much for supporting the Falconcast. Sorry we didn't have AJ. BC, you got anything else to tell people? Okay, that was not attractive, but that's okay.
There's like half shots right now, bro. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, fine. Anyway, I'm gonna, total doubts. I'm the evidence of my birth. Yeah, I'm here, right? So, hockey play was Edmonton and St. Louis over 6.5 tonight. Okay, so that's for everybody, not just my little text thread. And man, thank you guys again so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry we didn't have AJ today. That was my fault. I knew he told me. And I want to thank BC for jumping on. And I think you guys had fun with Erica. You know, I mean, she seemed to love you guys. So, she's a really cool person. And, I think we got enough shots in her to where she'd actually come on. But yeah, she's a cool chick. And, glad you guys like her. And anyway, she's a friend and a good friend, and I like her a lot. And hopefully we'll have her on again at some point. But yeah, Behan and Erica greater than AJ. Okay, I don't know about that, but she does look better than AJ. Let's be honest. Like, no, she's definitely, from a looks perspective, she's up there. There's no question. Heartthrob, hey Fred, I'll be in town next month. I'll text. Please do, man. And come over to Montrose and let you and I have a few adult beverages and catch up. Heartthrob's a great human being who's been through a lot, and I love him to death. And can't wait to see him again, man. So yes, please hit me up. You got my number. If you don't, just DM me on Twitter, and I'll give it back to you. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. I am gonna have like one more shot and then go home and go. So my neighbor Steven's a great guy. He gives me rides to a lot of places. He lives like one house away from me. He's got this huge backyard. So Kira goes over there and plays all the time, right? With his two dogs. And runs around and runs around and runs around. Okay, just between us, pretty sure he wants to steal Kira from me. He loves that dog more than he loves his own dogs. But, that's not going to happen. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you have awesome plans. I hope you have lots of fun no matter how you do it, whether it's drinking or smoking weed or having sex or going to some festival. I hope you enjoy the hell out of it. I can't thank you guys enough for being part of this, and I hope you're a part of it for a long time. So until Monday, stay sportsy, Gulf Coast badasses.